I think what's happening in Turkey right now is basically a good thing. It's a fascinating thing, but it's also a good thing. Here's what I mean. What you have throughout the Muslim world, throughout the Arab world, Islamic world, Middle East world, call it what you will, is a tension between democracy and liberalism. And in each place, it's playing itself out differently. By democracy, I mean popular participation, people voting. By liberalism, I mean small L liberalism, the rule of law, individual liberty, individual rights. And what you're seeing, I mean, in Egypt, you see it, of course, with the Muslim Brotherhood, a somewhat illiberal party that has been elected. And so they're democratically the majority, but are they the force for liberty, for the rule of law, for individual rights? I'm not so sure. In Turkey, you have a very interesting situation where the elected government, which has been elected, remember, 3 times with increasing majorities, is trying to put in place some things that are often enormously popular. Relaxation of some kinds of secularism, allowing people to display their religious affiliation, as it were. For example, wear veils and things like that. You have to have a side note to understand. Turkey is very strange in that it actually forbids women from wearing veils in public spaces, by which I mean state places. So you can't go to a state university in Turkey and wear a veil. The Prime Minister of Turkey's 2 daughters are very pious Muslims and wanted to continue to wear the veil. By the veil, by the way, in Turkey, you mean just something that covers the hair. They couldn't do it in Turkey. They would have been breaking the law. So they came to America, and they went to Indiana University, where, of course, in America, you can wear whatever the hell you want. So in Turkey, you have this drama playing itself out, which is an elected government is trying to put in place popular public policy, with symbolic policies, but is running afoul of a very deeply entrenched secular establishment that has been in place since Ataturk founded modern Turkey, that represents itself through the army, through the courts, through the administration. And that's the drama. A secular elite, largely Istanbul-based, but in other parts of the country, resenting this intrusion of kind of religiosity by what they regard as country bumpkins, Anatolian peasants, they often say. But Erdogan, the prime minister, may have overplayed his hand and is a somewhat dictatorial, authoritarian character. And so he's produced a greater backlash. It's very healthy. This is what democracy should be about. Kind of 2 visions of a society and some search for compromise. The reason I'm much less scared than people are in the sort of media coverage in general is Turkey is in a very good place. They're consolidating and maturing their democracy, and part of maturing your democracy is figuring out what's okay. Is it okay for a democratically elected government to say, we're going to relax some of these rather weird enforced secularism that has been in place for 60 or 70 years. For example, one of the things that not even this government, but some people affiliated with this government sometimes says, why shouldn't Friday be our day of rest rather than Sunday? After all, the country is 99% Muslim. That's the day we pray. Is that something that's okay, or is it something that runs afoul of some kind of constitutional diktat? It doesn't seem to run afoul of any constitutional diktat, but this is what democracy is. You have a conversation about it, you have a discussion, you bring your people out on the street, they bring their people out on the street. Ultimately, I think it's good. It's not going to result in the overthrow of the government. It has nothing to do with the Arab Spring. This government in Turkey, remember, as I said, is 3 times elected with increasing majorities. Erdogan is the most popular prime minister in Turkey since Ataturk. So it's really a sign of democracy in action.